Hello and welcome back to my channel featuring Kettle. My name is Caleb Marshall, also known as the Fitness Marshall. I haven't done this kind of video in a long time. I just wanted to sit down and talk for a second because I feel like I haven't gotten to really tell you where I'm at. I haven't even done like a house tour since I moved, which I'll do soon. I feel like in a lot of videos, I have talked about my anxiety. I've talked about how bad it's been and how much I've been going through. And I thought, whoa, maybe like now is a good time to give a little update and tell you where I'm at, because I've always shared the bad, but I feel like often I don't share the good. Like you'll see me out there having fun and dancing and doing all these things, so you assume that everything's peachy, but that's never like an actual indicator of how I'm feeling, because you know that's my job, is to be the fitness marshal. I wanted to check in because right now I'm happy. And my anxiety is at a really good place, like a really healthy place. It's taken me so long to get here. And I know it's not permanent. And I know that if anything about my journey with anxiety has taught me, it's hills and is that a hill? Hills and the peaks and valleys. It's peaks and valleys. And I am at a peak right now. And so I should celebrate that. And that's something so important, because you have to celebrate your wins, you have to celebrate the good times. And often with anxiety, you're so worried about the future and everything coming and everything you're afraid of that you never are fully present and like take inventory of gratitude and loving where you're at. And I think that's where I am right now, is I feel so grateful for everything I have. I feel so grateful for this life. I feel so grateful for my job and my friends and my family and Cameron and my dogs and all these opportunities that I have. And I'm just in like a space of like, I'm so grateful and I'm so happy with my life. And I'm at a place of like contentment where I don't like need more. And that's what's so weird, is because I feel like also with my anxiety, I have always been like searching to like trying to climb and get to the next rung and get more money and get more security and prove myself to people. And I'm at a place right now where I don't feel the need to prove myself to anyone. I feel like I've finally like learned how to be happy with who I am, what I've done, and what I have. And that's such a weird thing to do, especially in Los Angeles. Like, of course, I want more opportunities. Of course, you could always have, you know, a bigger house or more things. And I'm not saying I don't love those things, because obviously I do. But like, I am not in a place right now where I am searching for that next best thing. I'm happy to get it, but it's the weight that's been lifted off my chest. And the biggest reason is because my anxiety is less than what it used to be. And so I always felt like very high strung. And when you're anxious, you're just naturally more rigid and change is hard, and you're more apt to like look at others and feel like, oh, I need that, I have to have that, I have to be that. And you never just give yourself a break. And so now that I'm like less anxious, I'm just not in that fight or flight mode all the time, and I'm able to like breathe and just be like, you know what? This is so more than enough. Like, I am content with who I am. And that is just like, I think I beat this horse dead, but like, I'm just so content right now. So how did I get here? That's the big question. It's funny because just a few months ago, I felt like I was in a bad place again. And I have been, also my dog's eating out of his bowl right now, so you probably hear that. I've been on a journey with therapy for about I think during the pandemic, I got into therapy, like weekly talk therapy. Being able to, because it's not through my insurance, I have to actually like pay out of pocket for therapy, because a lot of good therapists, unfortunately, don't take insurance because our healthcare system sucks. Anyways, I've been in therapy for about 2 years weekly. Such an incredible privilege, but if you have access to it, like, I don't know why people think that only like broken people or weak people go to therapy. Even on my best days, I would still go to my therapy session and realize that I had more to talk about or more to explore. Or like, if I am feeling great, let's talk about why I'm feeling this way and what choices I made that are different than when I wasn't feeling so great so I can keep this going. And like therapy is just, I literally couldn't imagine my life without it. I don't know if I'll go weekly forever, like I just cut back to going bi-weekly, but just having a sounding board, and not only that, like a medical professional. Like I see a board certified psychologist, so lots of training, especially about the brain. And so just learning how to change my behaviors and my thought patterns and not feed into a cycle has been life-changing. And it's taken years of practice, and I'm sure I'll get in a bad spot again. But like now I have more tools than I used to, which makes those bad moments not so bad, and it lets me get out of them faster. Therapy is like going to Home Depot and getting like a hammer and a level and a wrench and a saw. Am I straight? And you're just equipping yourself with tools to fight your future battles. That's what's important, is like it's not like all these problems go away, all these feelings go away, but now you just have an ability to deal with them better. Also something I did, which I'm really scared to talk about, because I don't want judgment. I don't want the opinions of others. I hate when I am vulnerable and then I get like everyone's opinion, especially people who are like, oh, like you shouldn't do that, that's like bad, or this is my terrible experience with it. Like, that's fine, that's your experience. But I saw a psychiatrist for the first time a few months ago, and I thought that for so long. I went to a doctor after my first panic attack in college, and it was like a 5-minute appointment. He's like, what happened? I said, oh, like I think I'm dying. My heart's like, something's wrong with my heart. And he's like, no, like you have anxiety. And he's like, I've seen this a million times before. Here's your prescription, on your way. And he put me on this like super high dose of medication, and then never saw me again. And it was up to me to just figure out like how to manage it. And that was terrible. And so then I like quit cold turkey halfway through. I had bad side effects. I was like, no, medication's never for me. Like, this is bad. But I just didn't have any support or resources. Fast forward 7 years later, I see a psychiatrist, and he's like, you know what? I think you could really benefit from a medication. It's your call if you want to try it. But if you do it, we're going to have follow-up appointments every few weeks, every couple months, and I'm going to make sure this is right for you, and we're going to adjust accordingly. And so it's like I had help. And so I decided to take medication, and I was so scared. My biggest fear was I was going to lose my spark. I was going to flatten out. I wasn't going to be able to be the fitness marshal anymore. I wasn't gonna have what's special. And I thought I would lose all that if I tried medication again. When my psychiatrist was explaining it to me, he's like, there's a performance curve for anxiety, right? You need about like 50% anxiety to do like really well and to excel. Like a little anxiety is really great for doing your best and giving you that push. But he's like, if you're past that 50% point, it's just hindering you. So all you need to do is find a medication that can pull you back a little bit to get you to that like 50%. And that made it make so much sense to me, because I was like, I don't need to kill all my anxiety. I just need to lessen it because I have too much of it. And I realized after I started medication, months later, I was like, whoa, I feel more like myself now than I felt in so long. There's this cloud of just paralyzing fear and anxiety that is no longer like present in my everyday life. Like, it's there, but it's not as strong. It's like there's a storm sometimes, but it's not as intense. It went from like a category 5 to like a category 2, which is very manageable. And so I feel like I'm able to have closer relationships with my friends, have harder conversations and not avoid all conflict, be more confident in what I'm saying, and just have a better outlook on life. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it got to a point, and this may be for a different video, it got to a point where I didn't want to do that. Like, I hated making up dances for the Fitness Marshall because I put so much pressure on myself. I held myself to an impossible standard, and it just stopped being fun. And it was a miserable task. And every time I had to make up a new dance, I would go into this like deep, dark place where I would just turn into like a raging bitch. And it was like, I'm creating dances that are supposed to be fun and bringing people joy, but it's making me miserable. And so even just like recently being able to let go of all that pressure and need to like have every video be the very best and just not care as much and not put so much weight into every decision. I used to think I had to overanalyze everything and like put in so much effort and struggle for everything to make it the very best it could be, but I did not realize that that behavior and that mindset made everything I was doing like a little bit less. Or even if it was, whatever I did was great, it was at my expense, at the cost of my mental health. And realizing that sometimes the best art I can create and the best person I can be comes from when I'm not as rigid and not overthinking so much and not putting so much pressure on myself. So anyways, I just wanted to check in because I just believe so much in doing what you can for yourself. Like if you're in a place where you feel stuck and you feel like you can't move forward and you feel like you're comparing yourself to other people or you're not doing what you want to do in this life, if your mental health is not in the best place, if you're fighting and struggling every day to be who you want to be, that's not just going to go away on its own. You have to equip yourself with tools. Doing nothing and just complaining about it and being miserable can last a lifetime. And I don't want you to go through your entire life being miserable. I get it. I've been there. But the sad truth is that if you don't take uncomfortable action, take charge of your mental health, and seek out help unapologetically, in whatever way you can, in whatever way that's accessible to you, you're only setting yourself up to keep repeating the same patterns and staying in the same negative cycle and to never be truly happy or never to be who you are meant to be. I'm just here to try to be a little vulnerable and be honest with you, as literally nervous as it makes me. I don't like sharing stuff like this, especially now that I've found things that work for me, and so it's scary to like open myself up to other people's opinions and critiques of that. But all I know is that I'm really confident in myself right now. I'm really happy, I feel really fulfilled, and I'm just excited to share that with you because there's been dark, dark times where I've been absolutely miserable and didn't think that life could literally ever get better. Ever get better. And it's just crazy to think like, wow, you just never know what's around the corner. Like you never know what life's gonna throw at you or where your mental health can be, you know, in the future. If everything sucks right now, it's not gonna be that way forever. I promise you, there are opportunities to change the trajectory of your life if you hate it. So don't give up on yourself. I'll be doing more regular like blog stuff in the future, but wanted to check in on with you guys and be a little more serious because I'm not serious very often on social media. So I love you, and if you like this video, subscribe to this channel. I am so happy to have you here. Give this video a like if you know someone else who is struggling with anxiety or depression or whatever else they're going through. If you think this could help them, send this video to your friends, share it. That's why I do stuff like this, is to hopefully make a difference and to help someone else who might feel the same way. So until next time.